So, you know that you want to try Instagram stories. You probably should be doing Instagram stories, but you're probably not. And there's a reason for that, and that's time. However, Canva makes it super easy for you to pick a template, customize it, and in a few brief seconds, moments, voila, you've got your Instagram stories to publish. And if you stick around, I'm going to tell you at least 3 ways that you can use those Instagram stories that you're going to create here in Canva. So let's get this started. Okay. I'm going to apologize right at the start here because it looks like my captioning just died. Because, you know, why not? Why shouldn't it, right? Okay, whatever. We're just going to roll ahead. So, Instagram stories, you know that they're a good idea. You know that they're popular. They're a great way to connect with your audience, find a new audience. But who has the time, right? And I totally get that. The thing is, our friend Canva, right, my favorite tool, makes it so easy to put them together really quickly. And you can create really nice ones with it. So, we are going to go through the process of doing that. And I'm going to show you all, I'm going to talk about also some other ways that you can repurpose that work so that not only do you get benefits from Instagram story, but you can actually use it in other places. Who doesn't love multiple wins in one move, right? Okay, so let's just dive in. Let me bring up, nope, that's not the one. That's the one. Actually, let's do it this way. Without this. Okay, it's going to be one of those nights. That's fine. We can handle that. All right, so I'm going to be down here because most of the stuff we're going to be doing is in here. Now, I'm going to be doing this demo in the browser version. It's exactly the same if you're using the desktop version or if you're doing it in the mobile app. No matter how you do it, it's all good. So from that standpoint, we are covered. When you come in, you know, your layout is going to look a little bit different depending on, you know, who you are and what you've been doing or not doing in Canva. By the way, if you've never tried Canva, in the description there is a link that you can go and try. Remember, Canva is free for the most part, which is one of the best things about it. You can do so much stuff in it totally free, including this. This is part of the free package, so you can just go ahead and click on the link and go for it. If you decide that you do want to pay for some of the extra bells and whistles, I will tell you that that link that's in the description is an affiliate link, and so they will throw me a couple of pennies, but, you know, no pressure. Free is awesome, too. So all you're going to do is you're going to come in here, and you're going to pick up a template. Now, you can see that, you know, it's showing up right here, but you can also come up to the top here and search for templates. So you can just type in whatever you want to type, you know, let's say Insta. Okay, and it's going to give you all the different, like, you know, look at all the flipping options you've got here. It's pretty freaking amazing. But, you know, since it's here, I'm just going to click on this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it the other way because actually I think if you do it the other way, it's, you get a better view of the templates. Now, actually, well, let me go back. Since I went here, let's do it this way too. So here, right, it's already got, you know, Instagram stories pulled for you because that's what you picked. And this is fine. Like, this is a fine way. You can go in here and you can pick a template and you can rock and roll with it. You know, be good to go. You can also start from scratch, but my whole point here is that by using Canva, you're saving yourself a lot of time and aggravation. Now, there are absolutely, you know, templates in here that you could just post, right? But I think it's worth the effort to go ahead and make some customizations to it. Make it your own, right? Use the template as a starting off point and then make it your own. So this is one way to go in and pick your templates, but personally, I find it easier to come in here. Yeah, I do the search, right? Instagram story. And look at them this way. Because for me, my brain processes it a little bit better and I can start to flip through and see, you know, what's going to catch my eye. Now, you know, you generally are going to have some kind of idea in mind for how it is that you're going to want to use this, but you don't have to. That's the other cool thing about it. So here, actually, I'm going to pick this one because this is also animated, so that's like 2 in 1, right? So here we go. So we've got this, right? It's all set up for a little quote, and it's got the little animation here, and if you want to see what the animation does, let me see. I need to pull this down a little bit, don't I? Give me 1 sec. Let me just adjust this so you can see the top, because that's kind of important in this situation. Let's do... Okay. Just gonna shift it down a teensy bit. if it'll let me. Main. It's one of the things I love about vMix is doing stuff on the fly. Okay, so this way you can see all of the options at the top because they're going to be kind of important for this process. So if you come up here to the top, on the right hand side, you'll see that little play button. So you can click on that and it will show you what the animation is. Now this is a real subtle animation, right? The lady's just kicking her leg there. But it's those little details that give it a little bit more polish and kind of makes it stand out from all the other stories and kind of makes you look like you've got pretty major skills when you didn't really need to. So you've got this. Now you can come in here, right? And you can change the background color if you want. You know, maybe you want more of a, let's see, let's go with more of a blue sky. What else? Do we want to make maybe some clouds a little bit of a light gray, right? Maybe there's a little bit of a storm moving in, just to give it a little bit more visual interest, right? And you can just play around with this as much or as little as you want, just to give it that extra touch. But then you're going to come in here and you can change this text, right? So one of the other things that you want to think about is, you know, maybe you just want to promote something, or maybe you have something you want to say. I'm just going to, you know, there's sites you can go to if you need inspirational quotes, that kind of stuff. But we're just doing a quick demo here, so I'm going to do, how about, it's not easy being green, because who doesn't love a little Kermit? So you could either change this, you know, this has got this title of daily motivation on it, or you could make it something else. Like I'm going to make it a quote of the day, and really I can spell. And I always like to give credit to the person who said it, so we're going to do that down here. We can expand the box, and Kermit the Frog, because who doesn't love some Kermits? But now you're like, okay, that's kind of running into her face there. I don't really like that. So I could either, you know, I could take out, I put in 2 lines, I could just do that. You could also reposition this. You know, all of these elements that are on here are yours to play with. You could even like move this down a little bit if you wanted to. Oh, I didn't get both pieces. But, you know, so you have total control over this. Once you decide what it is that you want to work with, you know, you can just go in and do whatever you like with it. And then you've got it. And guess what? I'm done. It can be that easy to just come in and grab a couple of things and go with it. And then, you know, at this point, you could, you know, download it and, you know, you send it to, you know, whoever does your socials, or you could, you know, have it on your machine and, you know, download it, upload it from your desktop. Or you could just save it, and then whenever you want to post it, you could just open Canva app on your phone and grab it that way, right? Add it to the phone that way, and then use it in Instagram. Or you could come in and do, I'm pretty sure this is going to be here, you can go ahead and do the scheduling, right? So we've talked about the scheduling in other shows, so you could come in and you could schedule this post for, you know, whatever day, at whatever time, select your channel, so on and so forth. So you have a lot of options when it comes to using Canva for this kind of thing, and really the sky is the limit. So let me just show you doing one with a little bit more of an edit going on. So let's see, let me just go back. I'm going to find another one. Let's see. Just looking for, really I'm looking for something that uses a photo, because I want to show you a photo thing here. Oh, what's a good one with a photo? If you see something you like, just holler out. Let's see. What's a good photo background one? I will say you can kind of get a little lost in this. I don't really want it to be video. I really just want... Okay, how about this one? We could do something with this. Okay. So the other thing that you can do to make these more you is you can upload your own elements, right? So videos, photos, sound effects, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure that, you know, you have copyright permission for it, which is why it's good to use your own stuff. So like, let's say, okay, I kind of like this. I like this little box up here, but you know, this really doesn't do anything for me as far as what I'm trying to promote or whatever. So I could come over here to my uploads and I could pick something. So I could, just change it out with a different kind of background, right? I've got all these different textured kind of backgrounds that I could use. And you can just kind of test drive them and see which ones you like. Or like I could come down and grab a photo. So I uploaded a bunch of photos. So maybe this one. Yeah, that could work. And then of course you can adjust the positioning of it. Something like that. And in this case, if I did that, I would probably move this down a little bit. So like I would probably put this like down here. So that could work, right? And then I could say, we could do some, well, you know what, I'm going to change these lines now too, because now that I'm looking at it with this photo, I think I would probably go green. And remember, Canva is going to help suggest good colors for you, right? So you do not have to be any kind of major league artist, graphic designer, or whatever, because I put this photo here, it's suggesting that these colors would work well in my layout. You don't have to use them, okay? If you wanted to use, a hot pink or whatever, you could totally do that too. But it's saying, hey, we picked these colors out of here for you, and that these will, give it that polished look without you having to guess, right? Right, Sammy? I know we're simpatico on this, right? Canva is freaking amazing. It really is. It's such fun to use, and my goodness, you can't beat the price. Free is awesome. Like I said, I do pay for it. Just full disclosure, I pay for my version because I believe strongly in supporting our devs, but also because I like the benefit of being able to use any photos that I want, which is another way to go. We'll do that in a second too. So having all of their assets available to me without having to pay $1 here and $1 here, $1 here. I use this tool all the time, so for me it's worth paying, but you don't have to. That's the point of this, is that you can do all this cool stuff for free. And it's very, very quick, right? So let's say, I don't know. Let's say that, I was promoting summer tech tips, right? Maybe I'm going to do a whole series, right? And so then I would put, some text here, whatever the text is, right? And boom. That's it. I would be ready to go. And again, however I want to go about uploading it is totally up to me. So let's just do one more. Let's do one using some of their art, right? So some of their photos. So like obviously you could just take this and run with it, right? If you wanted to support Pride, you could stick your logo up here, which I forgot to put into the other ones. See, that's a good reminder. So yeah, really, if I was going to do this, I would want to put my logo in here, which I should have, because I'm pretty sure I've uploaded it at least 100 times. As you can see, I've been loading photos because I'm trying to get more in the habit of doing things with my own photos. So yeah, I could totally, whoops, come on. All right, I can add my logo here. Now I just as a, I just as a joke, I like to hide my logo in a lot of the stuff that I do. So you'll notice in a lot of my titles, like I kind of worked the logo in. So, I might just, put it, I don't know. Well, for this, maybe we'll just put it here. I was thinking maybe I would hide it in the petals, but that would take more time. So, that way you've got that. So let's just do one just using their stuff. Like if you haven't had time to put your own photos up there. Okay, so let's take this one. Right, you're like, okay, kind of like this is sort of interesting. So again, you would probably want to upload your logo at least in here, because that way it's always available for you. So let me go and grab mine again. I really should pin it to the top, especially since I loaded 8,000 photos today. So let's say, let's say that you're not me. What a radical concept. You're not me. We're still going to use my logo. Okay, tell me when you see it. I'm sure I've already breezed by it. Come on, logo. Oh, why am I making my life difficult? There we go. I keep forgetting that this particular one is a touch device. Okay, sorry, don't know how I dragged that out there. So, you could put just, the name of your company if you just wanted to use the words, but since I have a logo, I would put this here. And of course, I would probably, adjust things a little. Oh, we'll change the colors or something. So you could just put your name here, but since I'm going to actually use my logo, I'm going to take that out. Then I'm going to position this where I want it. I'm going to make it just about the size of one of those squares above it, but move it down a little bit. Okay, and then you would come down here, you would change your text, maybe put, your URL in here. But again, so I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, I like this layout, but that color does not work for me. So maybe I'll go purple, or whatever that bluish. Is that better, purple? Or maybe I'll go bright. No, that's way too bright for me. Let's see. So you can just play with it. Just try looking at different colors. Okay, I kind of like that. And then you'd want to come in here and do the same thing to these overlay pieces. But you wouldn't have to do them same color, right? So let's do them a slightly lighter color. And again, you're just trying things. You're playing with it. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay, but then you're like, okay, well, great, this image, but that doesn't really work for me. But maybe you don't have an image handy for yourself. So you could come in here and search for something, right? So let's do, like, not that I have summer on my brain or anything, but beach. Okay, and put that in there. And you know what? I like that, but I think what I'm going to do is actually make this look more like a window. So I'm going to make it maybe brown? No, I think maybe that dark gray kind of worked. So let's try that. Now, you don't have to mess around with it this much, right? You could have left the original colors. You could have just changed the accent color. But the point is, there you go. You've got the whole thing. And you could even take this to the next level, right? Instead of doing just a static image like this, maybe you've got a video. And they've got videos that you can use. So let's see. Let's see if they got a beach video. I don't know why there's a VHS tape there. That's kind of strange, but whatever. All right, let's just grab this. Okay? And then that way it becomes a video story that would run for you. So once you've got these, right, and they're all here, like I said, you can just go ahead and you can pop them right into the scheduler. You can save them down. You could load them via the through the desktop. Whatever works better for you. But if you load Canva on your phone, then you don't have to copy anything, right? You don't have to worry about, okay, now how do I get it? I'm doing this on my laptop. How do I get this into the phone? You can just open the app on your phone, save down the image from here because it's already saved, right? If I go here now and I go back to back to home, you'll see that these ones I created that took me now I've got 4 because I just borrowed one, right? They're all right here for me. So I could just come in, grab them on my phone, save them down, go into Canva and post them and be ready to rock and roll. It's really super easy. Jason said, can the free version of Canva create, schedule, and post? I think the background remover in Canva is... Right, so the scheduler... Thank you, I should have made that clearer. The scheduler is something that is part of the paid package. There's a handful of things like, you get access to all the photos, the videos, the sound effects, all that kind of stuff if you're paying. Now, you can... With those kinds of things, you can pay per use if you don't want to buy, the monthly subscription. When it comes to the scheduler, the background remover, that kind of stuff, the background remover has been sneaking into some other places, so it kind of depends on which background remover we're talking about, but some of the higher end functionality for the background remover kind of thing is part of the paid set, and that's not something you can, pay as you go kind of thing. Except you probably could. So you could pay for Canva for a month, use all the bells and whistles, and then cancel a subscription and continue to use it for free. So if you get into it, like maybe you're using it for free and it's all going great for you, but then you're like, oh, I really wish I could do X, Y, or Z, and I know it's in here, then save up a few of those projects, pay for it for a month, and then cancel it. They're fine with that. They will not hassle you about it. So you can use that functionality without having to pay for it every single month if you kind of group them up and knock them off in a month or two. So, there's ways to do it. But yeah, so that is definitely, the scheduling is a part of the paid package right now. So is, I think, still the branding section that you can go in and you can specify your brand colors and logo and all that kind of stuff in there. So that's another thing. If you are using this and you want that kind of, ease of use, it might be worth it to you. If not, again, they're not going to hassle you about it. You can go ahead and just keep using all this stuff, just the way it is. So, like I said, these are good to go. You could use these as is. However, part of Instagram is some of the other features, right? So you can take these and you can just put these images up and they can be your story, and you can get engagement that way and all that kind of stuff, and that's totally fine. That'll totally work for you. But you don't have to stop there, right? So you can get the best of both worlds, because personally I find it kind of not annoying, but it's more of a time suck for me to try to create these things on the phone, right? I am much faster with my tablet and my stylus and doing it on the desktop or the laptop and knocking off a few of them at a time. But sometimes I do want to use some of the other cool features that you get in Instagram. You don't have to give those up. You can create however many of these you want, right? Get a little stockpile of them, and then you can bring them into Instagram on your phone and add those bells and whistles, because that is the one thing that right now and if I'm wrong, please tell me, I have not found a way in Canva to do things like the Instagram polls and all that kind of stuff in here. I don't think the association between the two companies is strong enough for that to happen. So I can create the art, I can create the stories, I can do animations, all that kind of stuff in Canva, and then bring it into Instagram to do the other stuff. So let me show you what I'm talking about, in case maybe you're not used to it or you haven't played with that kind of stuff yet. Let's do this. So over here, nope, I never point the right way on this side. So this is a view of my phone. And I've already got a really bad image that I took, but mainly because I wanted to show you where these pieces are. So at the stuff at the top, right, you can do, if you've got the right kind of account, you can, add a link for the swipe up, more options. That's if you have the business account, which, by the way, if you're on Instagram and you're doing business stuff, you really should go ahead and do it. They don't charge you for it, and you do get more functionality from them, so go ahead. If I wanted to download it, that's the download arrow. If I wanted to add special effects to it, I can do that. So I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty subtle. Oh, no, you can see it on the screen. Okay, so, if you wanted to add that kind of stuff, you could. You wanted to change it out, try different ones. So you could do this, right? You could bring whatever you created in Canva into Instagram, and then you can layer on these other things if you want. I personally recommend not getting too carried away, but, you do you. I keep forgetting I can move this. So you're seeing it on the screen here, but I actually can just hold it in my hand and do this. I don't have to be twisting myself, which will make my back happy, right? So there's all these different things here, all these different effects. I'll just pick one and just live with it. So, okay, here we got these little sparklies, right? And then you can come in and you can add, you can ask questions, right? Or you could, I don't really like that one. Let's try another one. So any of these other things that you want to try, you can go ahead and add on. So, if you want to add a hashtag to it, if you wanted to do a poll, if you wanted to, get, the lay of the land, and have people, measure in, you can do all that kind of stuff with it. And it all fits, it all works. So you can get all of this stuff, and then down here at the bottom you can select whether or not you're going to send it, or to just certain people, or if you're going to go ahead and post it, all that kind of stuff. And again, you can do the squiggles and lines, and you can draw. See, this is why I don't do this on the phone, because I'm terrible working with these kind of things, but there are people who are good at it. What else we got? You can type more text on it. So all of these features, all of this extra stuff that you can get from using the tools that you get with Instagram. Let's see, we can put something else on here. Let's do here, we'll do this, right? That's a pretty popular one. So all these other things, you can go ahead and do this and then make use of it, send it out there, and have it out there in the world and be ready to rock and roll. So, if you did one, so one of the ones that I showed you here, let's go back. I think it's this one. Yes, okay. One of the ones I opened up already had the layout for this. Did I close it? No. Okay, so this one here, right? So this one is laid out to be an Ask Me Anything, which is very popular in the Instagram stories. And you see this little block here in the middle? This is a placeholder to put the sticker, right? And to put the questions. So, it's Ask Me Anything, you can, put some text here or ask your own question. And then you've got these little blocks down here so people can vote, or ask the question or whatever. So you can, again, if you're planning ahead and you know that you wanted to use, let's say you wanted to use the poll feature in Instagram, then you could go ahead and put the placeholders here for this, and then you'll know exactly where to pop things in. Or again, if you've got somebody who's helping you out with social, they'll know where to put them depending on how you're set up. The thing is, you don't have to, right? If it's an afterthought, right, after you create the art, then you decide you want to do that. Well, as long as you've left yourself some space, you can still go ahead and do it. So it's an either or kind of situation, but they do have templates, for these kinds of things that already have the placeholders there, so you know where to drag things and drop them, and again, ready to go. And again, it takes some of that extra load off of you, because you don't have to figure out, well, is this balanced? Does this look right? Because you just use the template, because you reacted to the template, so other people will too. So that's another benefit to that. Let's see here. I've got like 18 devices open at the moment. So what's John saying? John says it's easy to get carried away and playing with Canva. That's true. So this is a time saver as long as you don't let yourself get sucked into trying all the toys. And once you get into a rhythm with this kind of stuff, you won't. Like, that won't be a problem for you. But it is certainly the kind of thing that, it can happen. It's sort of art therapy sometimes, right? And which is not a bad thing. But yeah, because there's so much that you can do here. And that's why, when I do these, I kind of focus, because there's lots of different ways that you can do this. So just as an example, one of the other things that you get let me go back here. If you are a paid member, is this resize. So you could do something like this, and then you could resize it, have the tool resize it to be other things. But that's a whole other discussion. If you want me to do a show about that, please let me know. You can reach out to yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there, and you can let me know that, hey, you'd like to know more about that. And I'm very happy to do a whole show about it. But I'm trying to keep focused here. So yeah, it's totally there. So let's talk about how you get more value out of these things, right? So you spend how long? I mean, seriously, how long have I've been streaming and I've been babbling? So, what did that take me? 5-10 minutes to knock off a couple of them? Now, and of course, I would have a better plan in place before I jumped in to do this. I'm just doing these on the fly. And really, what I find handy is I'm making it a habit of going around, and if I see, like an interesting texture or, a flower or whatever, I'm taking a ton of pictures these days on my phone, because I can then upload them into a tool like this. So here, let's just go back. Take that off my face. So these are my uploads, right? So I've just got all these different like backgrounds I can choose from. I've got a beach picture. I wonder how the beach picture will look on this one. Ooh, that kind of works. I would change that font. That font is way too hard to read. But yeah, so I'm just grabbing stuff that kind of looks interesting, and I'm like, that could work as a background for something. Come on, here we go, right? I mean, it's sort of abstract, but I highly recommend that you start to do that, because once you've got these things here, then these can become a catalyst for you. So like, something like this, maybe this would kind of work. It kind of depends on what it is, but inspiration can come from a lot of different things. So make the odds work in your favor, right? Sometimes you're just going to get an idea. Sometimes, you're going to look at a photo and be like, hey, I could do this with this, and maybe put, a saying on it, or use this for my fall cleanup, depending on what your business is, ad, or whatever it is that you want to do. But the combination of the templates, your own resources, and the resources that they have available let you customize these things literally in seconds. And then you get lost in the rabbit hole of fonts and all that, but that's only if you're me. So yeah, if someone has their own photos, could you use the Canva template feature for questions and replace the background photo with your own photos? That's exactly what I'm doing here, Jason. So these photos are my photos. These are the photos that I have uploaded. What are you doing? No, Goofy, you're going to have to wait. So these are all my photos. Everything that you're looking at here on the side is stuff I've taken. So that's exactly the point of it. And I prefer, in general, to use my own photos, because it means it's truly unique, right? Now, don't get me wrong, Canva's got a great library, but, so I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I use their stuff, sometimes I use my own, sometimes I combine them, because there's really no end of possibilities or options out there. You can just go ahead and play with all this kind of stuff. Like, I didn't even remember I took this photo, but I'm like, you know what? This is one that could be kind of handy. Right? So yeah, you absolutely can use your own photos. And that's one of the nice things about, I think, working here in Canva is this frees me up personally to play and experiment and try different things. because I've got all of this stuff here waiting for me, and then I can just go ahead and rip through and do whatever I want with it. And it is then more mine, right? Even though I started off with a template. And, hey, they have got, as we looked, they've got a ton of templates. I mean, I was barely through the list, and they keep adding to it. So that's the other thing to keep in mind, is Canva is constantly giving you new, fresh stuff. And you can always start, like this first one here, that's the blank, right? So you can always start from scratch if you want. But they've always got new stuff for holidays and events, and they're constantly refreshing this. They're constantly giving us new stuff to play with. So again, it is the combination for me of what they provide and then adding my own touch to it without it being stressful, right? I mean, frankly, this is fun. Now, maybe I'm sick and twisted. I don't know. But for me, this is fun. I get, a couple of things. Usually I come in and I'm like, I'll do like 2 or 3 because I try to keep the bar reasonable when I go to do this kind of stuff, right? I don't want to get overwhelmed going into it. So I'm like, okay, let's just take, a couple of minutes, do 2 or 3 and have them ready to go. And then a lot of times I'll end up with a dozen because I'll be like, oh, well, then I could do this and I could do this. Like this one here, like this Beachy Life one, this kind of a layout, you could use this layout. Here, let's go in here. And you could do multiples of these, right? And change it completely just by changing the background, right? So if I did one like this, right? And then you do, add page. Oh, it didn't do, oh, wait, no, there's a way to do a copy. Here it is. Duplicate page, okay? And then I could grab something else. Don't want to do another beach. Here, let's do different flowers. Funny thing is, I'm really not a gardener. Okay, that one doesn't really work here. Let's try this one. Here we go. That shows up a little bit more, right? And then you could, I don't really want the blank for our purposes here. And then you come up here and you duplicate it, right? So you can quickly knock out a few of these, put different text in it, have different images in the background. Obviously, I'm really in love with that for some reason today. I don't know why. Some of this is just your mood, right? Some of this is just going to trigger off your mood. Okay, maybe because I'm, geeky. Maybe I would do this. I need a different angle for that one. Oops, come back. Let me see. Let's just try one more just to give it, here, like this moon one or the sky. Let's just try the sky one. Right? So you can get very different feelings for this with these different things. And then, remember, you're not limited. You could then come in here, and if you wanted to add their stickers, you could do that, right? So they've got their art. You can just add shapes, if you wanted to just put a square in here for some reason, you could do that. So you can layer this on as much as you want. You can add, they've got little animated elements that you could add. You can add text to it. Whatever floats your boat, whatever kind of makes you happy is the way to go. So again, this is why I end up sometimes with a dozen or more out of this, is because I pick one and I'm like, well, I can change this. And just, you change the font. So let's see, we can get a totally different feel just by changing the font. Right? So then this one feels completely different from this one, So you will find that once you find a couple that work for you, you'll start to see those patterns and it'll just spark ideas in your head. And then with all of these other options here, now remember, you can add video, you can add sound, you can add sound effects to these things. So you can combine different things and then still bring it into Instagram, either on the phone. I don't know if you can do it on the desktop yet. I haven't been into Instagram in a while on the desktop. Let me look. Do they let you do posts there yet? I'm just going to look real quick. It's something I keep hearing that they're going to do, but I don't know if they've actually done it yet. No, you can view, but you can't create yet. It's going to happen. But so you do this, right? You do it all in Canva. You get it the way you want. You add the sound effects, all that kind of stuff. Then you open the app, the Canva app on your phone, save whichever one to your phone, open Instagram, pop it in, and then you can add your poll or your location or the temperature or whatever it is, whatever cute little thing from Instagram you want to add, and you can go ahead and rock and roll with it. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. I think we've pretty much got it covered. So I'm going to get into how you get even more value out of this, right? So I just showed you that you can take one and turn it into 5 or 10 really easy with minor changes. But wait, there's more. Because the size of the Instagram story is the same as the size of the Facebook story, which is the same as the version of it on LinkedIn. Okay, and you do not have to take my word for this. Let me bring this up. Let's go here. So if I put in just story, okay, and you hover, come on, give me my hover. Oh, you're not going to do it for me? Be that way. Okay, trust me. I don't know why it's not showing me the hover on this. But when I did it on the other machine, they're the same size. Okay, that's where I'm going with this. So your LinkedIn stories, your Instagram stories, all of these things are using the same exact size. WhatsApp stories are the same size. So you can do this, post it to Instagram, post it to Facebook, post it to LinkedIn, post it to WhatsApp. And you also could use these in your TikToks. So again, you're going to get huge value out of doing this. And if you want to post to multiple places, you could do it with the same thing. And because you're doing it, in Canva and then bringing it into each app, you can add whatever little special effects, people are used to seeing in that environment and add it to it, which will also make it a little bit more unique too. So use Canva, create your story, use it in multiple places. Personally, this for me is just a win-win-win across the board. This makes it so much easier to do these kinds of things. You'll start to build up a little library of them, and then you can even go back and streamline a bit further, right? So if you start to build these in Canva, you're going to keep these as part of your library. Here, we'll go back here, right? And then the stuff that you do shows up here, and you can go back anytime you want and pick one, modify it a little bit more, and create a new one out of it, which will make it even faster. So you're constantly, as you do this, you're building out your library. It's going to make it much more versatile. You can go back and reuse things, right? If you do something for a holiday, then next year you could go in, you can open that one again, maybe tweak a couple of things to freshen it up, and then go ahead and boom, reuse it. And that'll take even less time. So it just keeps giving. It's just a win across the board for us. There's a reason why I keep coming back to Canva for these conversations, is because you can do so much in it without having to jump around to different apps and remember, which one should I use for this? You don't have to worry about it. Just go into Canva and do it, and you're good to go. And again, they're not paying me to say this. Let's be very clear about this. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but they are not paying me to say this. I'm saying this because this is based off my experience. That's how I make my recommendations, is off of the experiences that I have, or the experiences of my clients and my friends that are doing these kinds of things. So this is a tool that I have introduced to a lot of different people who are at a lot of different levels, from technology to graphic design or whatever. And we're talking like 0 to 100. And I have people who are hardcore artists that are using this, and I have people who are terrified of drawing a straight line with a ruler, and they're all able to do what they want to do in here. So to me, that's a great success, because this means that this tool is versatile enough to work for whoever wants to jump in and use it. And there aren't a lot of those out there. So when I find something like this, I do like to let people know about it, because it's a huge win for everybody. Okay, so I think we are good to go on this, unless anybody has any other questions, which I think we're all right. Just verify. Okay, so thank you so much for coming by. I do appreciate it. I am here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with a different topic. You are always welcome to join live, jump into the chat, hang out, have a good time. If you have questions, you can throw them in. You can also ask questions that aren't on topic. I'm fine with that too. If you are watching this on the replay, not a problem. Go ahead, throw your questions or comments in, and I do come back and check them out. If you have questions about this or anything else, if you have a topic you want me to cover, just go to yourtechcoach.net and let me know. There's a contact form there. If all I ask is, if you have a question and you need a fast, direct answer, let me know how to get back in touch with you. Email, whatever, and that way I can get you the answer. Otherwise, all I can do is cover it on a future show. And yes, I promise, I'm working on this. It will get finished one of these days. I just keep getting interrupted. All right, everybody, thanks so much for coming by. I do appreciate it. I highly recommend you just go in and try this, right? Even if you're saying, okay, I'm not ready to do this, just go in and give it a try and see how easy it is, so that when you are ready to do it, you already got that part of it taken care of, and you can just go ahead and jump in and do what you need to do. All right, have a good one. Bye.